Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn about a very exciting and very useful topic in HTML, and that is HTML tables. By the end of this video, you will completely understand what HTML tables are, how to create them, and how to customize them. So make sure you watch this video till the very end. Let's get started. First of all, let's understand what is an HTML table. An HTML table allows web developers to arrange data, let me write here, to arrange data into rows, okay, and columns. Just like the tables you see in Microsoft Word or Excel, with rows going horizontally and columns going vertically, we can create the exact same thing on a web page using HTML. Tables are used to display data in an organized, okay, so in an organized and uh, structured way. For example, you can use a table to show a list of students and their marks, a price list of products, a schedule or timetable, or any kind of data that fits into rows and columns. Now let's learn the tags we use to build a table in HTML. There are several important tags and I will explain each one of them clearly. Okay, so the tag number one, let me write here. Uh, I think it is showing very perfectly. So the first tag, the tag number one, that is the table tag. Okay, so in the table tag, this is the main tag. It defines the beginning and end of the entire table. Everything related to the table goes inside this tag. Understand? So there is another tag, that is tr tag. Tr stands for table row. Okay. So every row in your table is created using this tag. If you want 3 rows in your table, you write 3 tr tags. Understand? There is a th tag. Th stands for table header. Understand? This tag is used to create the heading cells of a table. The top row that describes what each column contains. By default, the text inside th is bold and centered. By default. There is another tag, that is td. So td stands for table data. This tag is used to create the regular data cells of the table. This is where your actual data goes. The text inside TD is normal, not bold. Understand? So there are four, we have discussed the four tags. First of all, we discussed table tag, then we discussed tr tag, and then th, and then td. Now let me show you a complete example of an HTML table. Let's say we want to create a table that shows the name and ages of 3 people. Okay, so here is the code. So first of all, uh, let me write here from the very start. So uh, first of all, we are going to use here doc type HTML, and then we need HTML tag. Uh, Let me write here HTML tag. Now what we need, a head tag. So in the head tag, I'm going to write the title HTML tables. Understand? Now what we need, a body tag, because everything goes inside this. So here I'm gonna use the h2 my first HTML table. Okay, so now what I need, a table tag. So I'm gonna summon the table tag, and I'm gonna set here the border as an attribute. Okay, so here I'm gonna set 1, and I'm gonna close this tag. So now what I need, a tr, table row. Okay, inside this I need th tag, table header, and I'm gonna write here name. Okay, so I'm gonna again write it age, understand, and I'm gonna write here the city. Okay, so we have closed the tr tag. Now I need again the tr tag, and inside this I need the td, okay, table data. So I'm gonna write here, for example, first of all, like Ahmed. Okay, so I'm gonna write here td again, and I'm gonna write here 25. I'm gonna write here td again. I'm gonna write here Karachi. Okay, so I'm gonna write here tr tag again, and I need td tag, and I'm gonna write here Sarah, another row, table data, and again 30. Here I'm gonna write again Lahore. Okay, so I'm gonna write here again tr tag. Inside the tr tag I need td table data, and I'm gonna write it for Ali. Okay, so whose age is 22, and he is living in Islamabad. Understand? Now let me explain this code in complete detail. So first of all, as you can see, we have doc type HTML. This tells the browser we are using HTML5. Now we had the head section, contains our page title, HTML tables. So in the H2, okay, this is just a heading on our page to describe what we are showing. And here you can see the table tag, table border 1. This opens our table. The border 1 part adds a visible border around the table and its cells so we can clearly see the structure. Without this, the table would have no visible lines. Understand? Then we have tr tag, tr block. This is our first row and it contains three th tags, name, age, and city, as you can see. Okay, name, age, and city. Since we used th, these will appear bold and centered, as you can see in the preview tab. This is our header row. Second, we have tr block. This is our second row. It contains three td, okay, td tags, I mean the table data. Ahmed, as you can see, 25, its age, and he's living in Karachi. Understand? Then we have again tr tag, and this is a third row with Sarah's data, as you can see. Then we have again tr tag. This is the fourth row with Ali's data. Understand? So here we have the table. This closes the table. So when this code runs in the browser, as you can see in the preview tab too, you will see a neat table with one header row and three data rows with borders around every cell. Now let me talk a little more about the border attribute. When you write the table border 1, okay, here, it adds a border of 1 pixel around the table and all its cells. If you write border 2, let me write here the border 2, okay, so the border becomes thicker. If you do not write the border attribute at all, there will be no visible border and the table will look invisible, just plain text arranged in rows and columns without any lines. Okay, let me write here, close it, everything. As you can see, just plain text arranged in rows and columns without any lines. But if I add the border attribute, and I'm going to write here 2, so you can see our border becomes thicker. In modern HTML and web development, we usually use CSS to style borders instead of the border attribute. But for learning purposes, using border 1 or 2 is the easiest way to see your table clearly. Now let me teach you two more important attributes that control the spacing inside and between cells. First of all, cell padding. This controls the space inside each cell, between the cell content and the cell border. It makes the text look less cramped. Cell spacing and another. This controls the space between the cells themselves. So here is an example. First of all, if you add here, let me write here the cell padding. Okay, so if I'm gonna write here cell padding and I'm gonna set it to, for example, 10. Okay, and again I'm gonna write here the cell spacing and I'm gonna set it to 5. Then you can see in this example, cell padding 10 gives 10 pixels of space inside every cell, and cell spacing 5 gives 5 pixels of space between each cell. This makes the table look much cleaner and easier to read. Now let's learn something very important, and that is call span. Sometimes you want one cell to span across multiple columns, meaning one cell should take the space of two or more columns. For this, we use the call span attribute. Here is an example. So, if you use in the th here, okay, so if you use here the call span, okay, and I'm gonna set it to 3. Okay, so as you can see, uh, look at the first row. We have th call span 3 and there is a name. The call span 3 means this one cell will stretch across 3 columns. So the heading name will appear as one wide cell that covers all 3 columns below it. This is very useful for creating titles or group headers in a table. Understand? Similar to call span, we also have row span. This allows one cell to span across multiple rows. Here is an example. So as you can see, if we add uh, in the, for example, I'm gonna add here th, okay, and I'm gonna write here row span and I'm gonna set it to 2. So in this example, the cell with, as you can see, age has row span 2, which means it will stretch vertically across 2 rows. So the word age will sit beside both, as you can see, let me check it, will sit beside to Karachi and name, as you can see, at the same time. This is very useful when you have one label that applies to multiple rows of data. We can also add a caption to our table, like a title above the table using the caption tag. Here is how it works. So for example, uh, in the border, let me write here, if you use the caption, let me write here the caption. So here you're gonna use the caption tag and I'm gonna write here monthly uh, data. Okay, so if I use this monthly data, so here you can see the effect in the preview tab. The caption tag goes right after the opening table tag. It displays a centered title above the table that describes what the table is about. In this example, the caption is monthly data. Okay, so in professional HTML, we also use 3 special tags to organize the table into clear sections. That is t-head. T-head, this wraps the header row of the table. It groups the top heading section. Another is t-body tag. This wraps the main data rows of the table. It groups the body content. And there is another tag that is t-foot. This wraps the footer row of the table. It is usually used for totals or summary information at the bottom. Here is a complete example using all 3. Okay, so let me write it again, the table tag. Understand? So first of all, what we need is a doc type HTML, then HTML tag. So here we need a head tag, and title tag, and I'm gonna write here HTML tables. Understand? And in the body tag, we are going to start the table tag. So first of all, the table, and I'm gonna set its border to 1. Okay, and I'm gonna write here the cell padding. So cell padding would be, for example, 10, and I'm gonna uh, write here the caption too. Okay, so let me write. I'm gonna write here exam results. Okay, so it is our caption. Okay, now let me write here T head. Okay, so T head, in T head I'm gonna write here tr table row data, and I need th table, I mean the table heading. So first of all I'm gonna write here student, bold and centered, and what I need th again, the marks, again I need th the grade. Okay, so as you can see, now what I need t body tag. So I'm gonna write here t body, and in the t body tag I need again tr, and in tr tag I need td, table data. So first of all I'm gonna write here Ahmed, again I'm gonna write here 85 marks, and the grade is A. Understand? So you are not going to get yourself out from the t body tag, because you are going to write the body of the table. So what I need again the tr tag, and in td I'm gonna write here the data for Sarah. So for Sarah the marks are 90, and the grade is A plus. Understand? I'm going to write here again the tr tag for the third row, okay, table row, and I'm going to write here the data for Ali. Understand? So Ali, right here, the marks are 70, and the grade is B. Okay, so if you write here the t foot tag we have talked about earlier, and I'm gonna write here tr tag table row, and if you write here the td tag, and I'm gonna write here total students. Okay, so in the tr I'm gonna write here td table data, I'm gonna write here 3, and again I'm gonna write here table data. Okay, so we have closed the tr, tfoot and table tag. This is the correct and professional way to write an HTML table. Using t-head, t-body and t-foot makes your code more readable, easier to style with CSS, and better for accessibility, meaning screen readers used by visually impaired people can understand the table structure much better. Okay, now let me show you how to make your table look beautiful using a little bit of CSS. Because in real websites, we never use the old border attribute. We always use CSS for styling. Okay, so now let me write the code again. It is for your understanding. So first of all we need doc type HTML. Now we need the HTML tag, and I'm going to write here the head tag. So in the head we are going to write the title. So I'm going to name it the styled table. Understand? So now what I need, in the head tag we need the style tag for our CSS. So in this style tag I'm gonna use the uh, table, and I'm gonna set the width to 100. Okay, so the 100 the width, and I'm gonna set the border collapse. Okay, so let me write here the border collapse. Okay, So now let me set the style for t head, I mean table heading and table data. Okay, so I'm gonna set the border and border to 1 px solid black. Okay, and I'm gonna set the padding. So padding would be for example 12 px, and I'm gonna set the text align. Okay, let me set it. The text align would be left. Now let me set the style for th background. Okay, so I'm gonna set the style for th. The background color would be for example the background color, I'm gonna set it to hash 04 AA 6D. Okay, it is our background color. So now let me write here the color again. So color would be white. Okay, the text color. Now let me set the style for tr table row, and I'm gonna write here nth child, and I'm gonna set it to and. So now let me set the background color for this, and the background color would be for example hash f2 f2 and f2. Understand? So now let me set the style for tr table row hover. Animal hovers over the over our table or the content in the table, and I'm gonna set the background color for this. The background color would be hash DDD. Okay, now let me set the table. So first of all we need the body tag to start the table. So I'm gonna use the h2 as our heading, and I'm gonna write here styled HTML table. Okay, now let's start the table tag. So in the table tag we need t head tag, and in the t head tag we need tr tag, and I mean the table row. Okay, now I'm gonna write here th table heading. So I'm gonna write here the name. As you can see the effect, because we have already set the css. Now I'm gonna write here th age. Okay, so what I need here, the city. Now let me write here the t body tag. So what I need, t body tag, and inside t body tag we need tr tag again, and here we need the table data tag Ahmed, for example. Okay, so Ahmed, and I'm gonna write here the age would be 25, and again I'm gonna write here he's living in Karachi. Understand? We are not going to get ourselves out from the t body tag, and I'm going to write here the data for Sarah. Understand? So the name is Sarah, and she is 30 years old, living in Lahore. Understand? So I'm going to write here again the data for Ali, and we are going to write here Ali is the name. His age is 22, and he is living in Islamabad. Understand? So we have closed the table tag and body and everything. Now let me explain the CSS styling. As you can see, width 100. This makes the table stretch to the full width of the page. And we have also set the border collapse. Okay, as you can see, we have uh, set the border. This is very important. It removes the double border that appears between cells and makes all borders merge into single clean lines. Then we set border 1 px solid black. This adds a 1 pixel solid black border to every TH and TD cell. Then we set the padding we set 12 px. This adds 12 pixels of space inside every cell so the text is not too close to the border, as you can see in the preview tab. Then we use the text align attribute and we set it to left. This aligns the text to the left inside every cell. Okay, now we set the background color. So background color, we set it to 04AA6D and color white on the TH. This gives the header row a green background with white text, making it stand out. Okay, then we set the tr nth child even. This applies a light gray background to every even numbered row. Okay, this creates what we call a zebra strip effect, which makes the table much easier to read. Then we set the T hover. Okay, this changes the background color of a row to light gray when the user hovers their mouse over it, like as you can see the effect in the preview tab. So this gives a nice interactive feel to the table. Let me now quickly summarize everything we covered in this video. So in this video, we have learned about HTML tables are used to display data in rows and columns. The main tags are table, tr, th, and td. Th creates header cells, bold and centered by default. TD creates data cells, regular text. The border attributes add visible borders to the table. Cell padding controls space inside cells and cell spacing controls space between cells. We have also learned about col span makes a cell span across multiple columns, and we have learned about a row span makes a cell span across multiple rows. Then we learned about the caption tag adds the title to the table. Then we learned about T head, T body, and T foot organize the table into proper sections. And we have also used CSS to style tables beautifully with colors, borders, and hover effects. That's everything about HTML tables. This is one of the most important topics in HTML, and now you know it completely from start to finish. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Take care and keep coding.